the Admiral Byrd stuff is pretty wild because he came on national television in 1954. So at like the dawn of TV, this Navy admiral who had done 4 trips to the North and South Poles came and said that they had found a landmass on the other side of the South Pole from America that was the size of the continental United States. Exactly. No people there.
Covered in resources.
Yeah.
An insane amount of...
Yeah, so they thought there was oil, there was uranium, iron, all this stuff was there. And then after he came back, they formed the Antarctic Treaty and shut down travel.
Immediately. And coincidentally, the people that shut it down, their logo is a flat Earth map.
Yeah, sure is. Just like the UN. It's... Well,
I think it was a predecessor to the UN, the one that formed the Antarctic Treaty. It's either a predecessor or the UN right after it had become installed.
It's the only treaty in the world where everybody agrees.
You can't touch it.
Yeah.
It doesn't belong to anyone.
Only we can. So only military and military-approved scientists are allowed to go there. I've had military buddies talk to me. They've seen weird stuff from friends of theirs that have...
I believe
gone down there.
Certain classification.
Yeah. They said one of them said they had seen stuff of like tunnels underground, like massive tunnels where...
Hollow Earth there.
Yeah.
Going back to the whole German...
the Nazi theory. Same thing with Operation High Jump. Shortly after Admiral Byrd came out publicly about all that, they formed Operation Thor's Hammer. It's all declassified. You can find it. And they were shooting nukes at the firmament.
Yeah.
Hitting the atmosphere with nuclear warheads.
They also had Operation Fishbowl under Project Dominic.
Yep.
And
some wild shit, man.
Yeah, Dominic, the name means of the Lord. So... Fishbowl of the Lord. So they were just shooting weapons straight up and seeing if they could puncture the atmosphere.
It's pretty cool to look at.
I gotta check this out because you
can get declassified government documents explaining everything they did, their results, and all that shit. It's wild, man.
Yeah.
Super wild.
Yeah.
I might go back and actually cover this in a...
Well, we're going to cover it in a future podcast and get super in-depth.
Sounds like a band I wouldn't listen to.
Not
you guys going to that Meningitis concert? Count me out.
I'd listen to them, I think.
Meningitis? What kind of music do you think they would do?
Oh, dude, they'd be some kind of fucking metal band for sure. No, like a punk. It'd be a punk band.
That's why I would think more like upbeat. Not upbeat,
I think more like
happy.
You got to brush your teeth now. Like, take care of your fucking gums.
Have you guys heard Gingivitis by Meningitis?
You don't floss. You don't floss.
Wailing on the fucking
Oh man, I'm getting all kinds of like artistic ideas now.
Fantastic, isn't it?
Yep. I'm gonna sell my songs to the
the highest bidder.
American Dental Association. You don't floss. You don't floss. You gotta brush your teeth. You gotta brush your teeth. You cannot be punk without a British accent. Little known fact.
I went to the park today, saw Mrs. Gray. She said, Lonnie, your teeth are big, but you might have missed a spot or three. She said, go to the dentist and brush your teeth.
I think I would buy that album. It's just a beautiful smile on the cover.
I just want... We should just like take samples of that, like all that, just make it this one thing. Like,
go see your dentist. Go brush your teeth.
You gotta plug some though. Like, Oral B, Oral B. Crest. You can tell my product allegiance because that's the only toothbrush I know.
I've got Arm and Hammer myself.
A toothbrush? An Arm and Hammer toothbrush?
Yeah, it's I just punch my gums every morning.
I'm like waking up and shoving a fist in your mouth.
So, hey, some people do coffee. I do fists.
That could be a t-shirt.
Some do coffee. I do fists.
Nobody talk to me till I've had my morning fist.
Some like masochistic punk rocker.
This is
I haven't had my morning fist yet, bro.
just a
Give me a minute.
very strange walk.
What a peculiar gait on that fellow.
Like my fisting, all right?
He must be one of
Have you ever tried fisting?
I don't think so. I think maybe somebody's gotten like a finger or two up there before. I've never been Jim Hensoned. No, that's when you get the whole
Yes,
fist
no,
and you
I got the
lift
reference.
them up and can
Physically move their mouth, yeah.
And that's not. If that's what you're into, that's cool. It's just me.
There's nothing more manly than shoving your entire arm in another man's ass and using him like a puppet.
lifting that sumbitch up here so you can show him off to all your friends that he is your little ventriloquist.
My asshole hurts, but my God, do I respect you. If I had a nickel for every time I've had to say that.
It accumulate to a lot, I imagine.
Yeah, like you said earlier, nobody wants to admit that they're wrong.
Yeah.
Or that they were tricked.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. You can ask people who are alive when the moon landing happened, or you just bring up the fact that maybe there was some trickery, or there was that it was, or even just a complete hoax. They'll say, "Man, I saw it on TV." Like I was there, or there's no reason to fake that. It's like
that's a lot of people's hang up is that like, well, why would they lie? Like,
Right.
What's the benefit? I don't see the benefit. And to me, it's almost painfully obvious that it's to control.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's all it is. It's a control of information.
even simpler than that when you think about how much money NASA gets.
Oh yeah, billions
Yeah,
are
what is
taxed.
it
off of-
like? It's like so many million a day. It's like 50 million a day, I think, out of the tax budget. And so that on the simplest level, they're at least, if they're fucking around, they're at least getting paid a lot of fucking money for it.
Yeah.
And like you said, control is another one. That's something I really haven't wrapped my head around yet. The flat earthers will say that they want you to think that you're on an insignificant ball of dust flying through infinite space because you're just you're a fly on a gorilla's back.
Right.
Like that you don't matter. There's nothing special about you, and it's a turnoff for some people when they realize that there is a religious element to a lot of the flat earthers, where they say, well, if the flat earth is true, then obviously there has to be a creator.
Right.
So you could make the argument that they're faking all this stuff to trick you into atheism, or trick you into nihilism, even to say, well, I'm just a piece of dust and I'm going to turn into dust when I die. So why does, if nothing matters, then you can do whatever you want, and then what goes out the window is your morality, your sense of self-importance,
even responsibility at that point.
Exactly.
You subject yourself to just whatever the pure nihilism at that point. But even the idea of heliocentrism, which again, just like the globe Earth, is something we're indoctrinated with as kids. Is like, the sun's the center of the universe. Like it's that and Big Bang cosmology. These ideas came from the Vatican. They didn't come from scientists. They come from Jesuit priests. Jesuit priests are also accused of running a sun-worshipping cult. Saturn was formerly known as a sun. Like it used to appear in our sky much differently.
This is something that I've heard about. I can't find like the source material to really dig into it, but I've heard that Saturn was called like the secret sun or the second sun or something like that,
or like the dark star.
Right. Yeah.
Or the black sun.
And then you find out there's so many connections to like the black cube of Saturn. There's a cult of people who seem to be worshiping Saturn. And if you think about what Saturn is from Roman mythology, Saturn is Kronos, and Kronos is where we get the word chronology. He's basically
true. Yeah.
Oh, so you haven't heard this whole line of thinking? Okay, so Saturn in Greek mythology is known as Kronos. Kronos is basically Father Time.
Yes.
So Father Time wears a big black robe and carries a scythe.
Yeah, the Grim Reaper is Father Time. It's Saturn.
Saturn is Kronos, is death. And so if you know Greek mythology, you know what Kronos does when his children are born.
Oh, he eats them alive. Yeah.
So, thank you.
Yes, sir.
So time, or Saturn, eats children. So when you tie that back into all this pedo-gate, stuff where it's like there's rumors of not just abusing but cannibalizing children.
Yeah.
And that ties into I'm not sure what the black cube symbology has to do with it. Are you familiar with that?
It's a 6-pointed star can also be shown as a cube.
Oh, that's what it is.
On top of Saturn.
So when you draw two-dimensionally, when you draw a cube, you draw that square, you add the extra lines on the corners with a square behind it. Mm-hmm. That's the cube, which two-dimensionally is a 6-pointed star.
Precisely.
Right.
A cube unfolded becomes a crucifix.
That's right. And so the storm on Saturn, there's a giant storm that never stops.
Yeah.
It's in the shape of a hexagon,
right,
which is a 6-pointed star.
Right. There's also sound that is coming from Saturn as well, right? Mm-hmm. So with sound and cymatics, if it's a constant tone, it's going to produce some like sacred geometry shape. So the symbol of that ice storm that's at Saturn's North Pole, that's continuously going in the form of a hexagon, is a symbol for the sound that it's creating.
Wow.
And meanwhile, the black cube of Islam, the 6-pointed star of Judaism, and the cross of Christianity are all different versions of Saturn symbolism.
That is insane.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing. You get people arguing about what's correct and what's not correct, and
right.
It doesn't overall it doesn't matter, but it's like you get people arguing about the video game a lot. There are people that are mad that this movie's being made without Harold Ramis, and there's people that get mad. This is how dumb it is. There was a big thing when the trailer came out. It wasn't even the trailer. Some pictures of the car were posted online.
Field or something like that.
Yeah, and the ladder of the car is on the wrong side. It's on the opposite side of the car that it is in the original film, and it became this huge, the Ghostbusters section of the internet was like, why the fuck is the car different? And I was like, well, the car's 35 years old at this point in this.
Sure, they made some
They
renovations.
can move the ladder if they want. It's just people were so bad. But then the trailer came out, and they literally have a reason for the ladder being moved, and it's because they have that gunner seat pops out. Like, that was in the way of where the ladder used to be. And I'm like, oh, well, there's your answer to the fucking ladder, but it's so stupid.
So many people get religious with it, and, I mean, because you can make anything into a religion, right? Arguably. Yeah. But it's like Star Wars, like, folks that they're like, you know, they may be atheists, but they're like, well, dude, I mean, you're kind of, you've got like a temple to Jar Jar Binks in your bedroom.
True.
And
yeah. Star Wars is the worst, dude, especially with the last, like...
It's like if Bible thumpers and fundamental Muslims were nerds, they would flock to the Star Wars religion.
I get that. It's exactly like you just said. I don't believe in God, but I believe in Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'll hang that photo up.
It's I had to do a paper. This was like years ago, like over a decade ago. It was for a philosophy of religion class, and you had to tie in something within the modern culture to say like it is a religion. So, for example, I had in class once made an argument that you could swap out sex for God. Mm-hmm. And then you would even have things like false prophets would be like street walking prostitutes that misguide you along the way. And I had everything like laid out. Yeah. So for the paper, I was like Star Wars. I don't think episode 3 had come out yet.
Okay.
So Jar Jar Binks was definitely, unfortunately, in there.
He was in there.
Who was the other guy? It's like Wazo or something. Watto.
I love Watto. He's so dumb. He's like, I recently went back and watched, right before episode 9 came out, and went back and rewatched all of them. And it's the first time that I watched the prequels in a very long time. But Watto is like, there's so many weird things they do in those prequels, and Watto is one of the weirdest. He's just like that big blue slave owning.
He kind of looks like he got fired from working for Jim Henson.
Exactly.
And it's like, what am I to do? I need work.
There's something about him though that I'm like, I'd watch a Watto series. I'd watch like
a
an
sitcom.
animated. Yeah. Disney Plus puts out a Watto TV show.
Oh God.
I'll watch that.
Welcome back to Watto and Friends.
What am I doing? My daughter, she goes on first date tonight. What if I take her to planet outside of Star Sector?
I'd watch that.
I don't think it would make it past the season, but I mean,
no, probably not. Especially with all the they'd have to retcon all the slave owning and
Oh yeah,
they would just cut that part out.
Oh yeah, it's not quote unquote.
He's not
woke.
a slave owner anymore.
Yeah, no. Oh no, they weren't slaves. They were indentured servants.
Yeah. He paid them.
Inexperience.